Alright guys, so today we are going to start talking about function, rules, tables, and graphs. We kind of started it a little bit in some of the earlier videos, but we're going to go into more depth today, and I need a smaller font. That looks better. I'm going to type these because we all know how good my handwriting is. So step number one is we're going to pick logical values for our x that we're going to plug into our function, which is step 2. Plug I want this to be red. Why is this being difficult? Plug in said values for x. And then lastly, we're going to graph our coordinates. And something else I wanted to talk about, we're going to see a few different types of graphs between today's notes and / the homework. So if you see something with just x, that's considered a linear function, and it'll result in a line. You're also going to see x squared, which I know I can't really necessarily write it in the terms I want with this. Ooh, actually I can. Just kidding, hold on. Bum, bum, bum. You're going to see these guys. Haha, I forgot I totally could do that. Which is considered a quadratic. And that will be my U-shaped. We talked about that a little bit in the video 2 videos ago when we were talking about vertical line tests. And then you're also going to see absolute value of x, which means absolute value, and that will result in a V-shaped graph. So just some stuff I wanted to point out before we got started going through some of these pictures so you can get used to seeing what they're going to look like. Got a little tongue-tied there. So when we pick our x values, we're going to want to pick something strategic. That's why I said we're going to be logical when we do this. I see division of 2, because remember, fractions are just division problems. That's all it is. So I want to divide by 2. Okay, keeping that in my head, do I want to divide odd numbers by 2? Not really, right? It doesn't make sense. If they're odd, they're not divisible by 2. And it's going to give me things that are like 0.5, and I really don't want to deal with decimals when trying to graph. It's not fun. So when we pick our graph points, we're going to be, like I said, logical. So if it's got a fraction, especially if it's 2, 4, or 6, we're going to do stuff that is divisible by 2. Okay? And I also don't want to do just one side of my graph. I want to do both sides. So I'm going to pick stuff to the left and to the right. And I know that's backwards for you, so to the left and to the right. So let's pick some negatives and some positives. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different I have to choose. If I'm going to do both sides, shouldn't I pick a logical value of my middle answer being 0? Does that make sense? We want to do both negative and positive. In there, we're going to have 0. 0 we know is even, because it's like 10. 10's even because it ends in a 0. So 0 is possible. So before that, though, I want to pick some negative stuff, but I don't want to pick -1. But we can do -2. And likewise, -4. So then, on the other side of 0, I'm going to do the positive versions. So step 1 pick logical points for my x. Step 2. We're going to plug those x values into my function. So in this case, we have -1/2 x, or x divided by -2, plus 1. Now remember, when I multiply by a fraction, it's just dividing by the bottom. So I have -1/2 times -4 plus 1. So I have -4 divided by -2, which gives me a +2, which gives me 2 plus 1, which is 3. And we're going to worry about that last column here in a second, okay? Just bear with me. Let me write. There you go. So in this case, I have -2 divided by -2, which gives me -1. What are you doing, computer? Miss Kimi, what are you doing? -2 divided by -2 gives you a +1. I forgot. It's been a long weekend. Sorry. 1 plus 1 gives me 2. Now on this one, what's 0 divided by anything? 0. Now, does it matter if it's negative or positive? No. 0 divided by any number is still 0. So then 0 plus 1 is 0. Excuse me. 2 divided by -2 is going to give me, here's that -1 I was talking about, which is going to be 0. And then again, 4 divided by -2. Why do you keep wanting to type? You missed my negative sign. I don't know what this thing's doing. Okay, 4 divided by -2 is -2. -2 plus 1 is -1. So, I said in this last column, we're going to ignore it for a second, but now we have all my answers. So I'm going to go ahead and put them into a coordinate point so it makes it easier for me to graph. So my x value that I plugged in was -4. And when I plugged in -4, I got an answer of 3. So my point is -4, 3. Now, my next point is -2, 2. 0, 1. 2, 0. And 4, -1. So I'm going to go ahead and plot my points that we just found. So I'm going to go to the left 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Up 3. 1, 2, 3. Then left 2, up 2. 0, 1. 2, 0. And 4, -1. And then I'm going to go ahead and connect my lines. And these are going on and on forever without end. So yes, you need your arrows. And yes, you're not just connecting the dots. I only am graphing 5 points. But since this function continues to any value, whether that x value be 1,000 or -12, it still is possible. So you need to have the endpoints on here, these end arrows. Something else I want to point out before we go on is the way that the graph goes. So we, in math, read a graph left to right, just like I read a sentence, left to right. And that means when I'm looking left to right, this function is considered to be going down. As my x values get larger, my y values are getting smaller and smaller. Comparatively, yes. Here it's positive, but this is smaller per se than the one to the left of it. So I'm going down. So in this case, this function is considered to be decreasing. The reason I know that, or another way I can help point that out, is you notice the value in front of my x is negative. So if you're dealing with a linear function, because I only have an x, I don't have a squared or an absolute value, it's going to be a straight line. Since this linear function has a negative in front of it, it is considered to be decreasing. We're going to want to keep that in mind for what's coming up next. Not this lesson per se, but the next lesson, tomorrow's lesson. 2 days, I don't exactly know the order. Sorry about that. Okay, so again, being logical, let's pick some x values. Again, I want left and right. I see this is going to be a linear function. Oh, let me type. So because it's linear, it's going to be, again, a straight line. Let's do stuff on the left and right of 0. Again, I don't have a fraction, so it really doesn't matter what values I pick. So I'm going to do -2, -1, 0. How are you doing this? 0 and 1 and 2. I'm going to go ahead and plug those points in. So I have 3 times -2 plus 4. 3 times -2 is -6. What are you doing? -6 plus 4 is -2. So I have 3 times -1 plus 4. -3 plus 4, which is 1. Then I have 3 times 0 plus 4. 3 times 0 is 4. 0 plus 4 is just 4. I was thinking plus 4 and I was about to write plus 4. 3 times 1 plus 4. 3 times 1 is 3 plus 4 will give me 7. And then finally 3 times 2 plus 4 will be 6 plus 4, which will give me 10. And those points are -2, 2. -1. Hold on. I'm sorry, guys. It's jumping all over the place, and I want you to thoroughly be able to see what I'm writing. The next point is 0, 4, then 1, 7, then 2, 10. And again, we're going to graph as best as we can go. I don't know if the 2, 10 will be on here. We'll see. So I'm going to go to the left 2, up 2. Oh, let's make this a little bit bigger so I can do this better. Then I have -1. Oh, hey. Oops. Oh, I thought that looked weird. I'm supposed to be down 2. I forgot my negative sign. This here is negative. So I should be left 2, down 2. I'm sorry about that, guys. Getting flustered about my computer not wanting to work, and I had an error. So I'm sorry. Then -1, up 1, 0, 4, 1, 7. And like I said, that 2, 10 is not going to fit. If it doesn't fit on there, don't write it, because it's just going to be obnoxious and potentially get in the way of another graph. So just go ahead and correct your graph. And likewise, when we talked about, if I go back a second, reading my graph left to right, this function was decreasing because the value in front of the x was negative. Left to right, this function is increasing. So this guy, if you notice, in front of my x, he's positive. My 3 is positive, so therefore this is going to be an increasing function. How many do I have? Just... okay. 2 more. I wasn't sure. Alright, on to the next one. So we should be having an alarm going off in my head, say ding, ding, ding. I see an x squared. X squared is quadratic, so therefore we should have a U-shaped graph. So I'm going to go already and say it's a quadratic function. It's going to be U-shaped. And same idea with increasing or decreasing. Since he's positive, he's going to be a... well, we'll show what that means. Because it's going to be a U-shape, but it means either up or down. We're going to see which one it is. We're going to find out. Alright, so let's go ahead and start picking values. Again, we want both sides of the graph, so we are going to pick -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. So I have -2 squared plus 1. Those are not meant to be 3 equal signs. That is supposed to be me trying to write an equal sign. Doesn't want to go. Hey, there we go. Okay. -2 times -2 is 4 plus 1. And 4 plus 1 is 5. And I have -1 squared plus 1. -1 times -1 is 1. Plus 1 more is 2. Zero squared is 0. Plus 1 is 1. 1 squared is 1. Plus 1 is 2. 2 squared is 4. Plus 1 is 5. So something cool about quadratic functions, which you will really get into detail next year, hint, 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 is that they are reflexive, which means that they have a reflexive property. Notice how I go 5, 2, 1, then 2, 5 again. What happens on one side will reflect to the other. So it's going to be a perfect U. That's how it gets that perfect U shape, is because your y values will essentially be equal to each other at some point. So, fun fact. Okay, so your point is -2, 5, -1, 2, 0, 1, 1, 2, and 2, 5. So to the left, 2, up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. -1, 2, 0, 1, 1, 2, and 2, 5. So I know it looks like it should be like a nice sharp V. We will get into more details later on in the future as to why it is not. So with the squared ones, which is what we have, it's going to be a U. So make that bottom a nice little round. Do not make it a sharp V. They're 2 different functions. Last one, absolute value, which again, if you are remembering your notes, this is the one that's going to have a sharp V. So let's pick some logical points. -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. Just because I want to be right to the left and right to the right of the graph. Remember, absolute value takes that number and makes it a positive of whatever it is. So the absolute value of -2 plus 1 is going to be 2 plus 1, which is 3. So then the absolute value of -1 is 1, and plus 1 is 2. Again, 0 is always itself, it's not positive or negative. even if the number's already positive, again, it's just trying to take the positive of it. Now, notice that these, again, are similar to a quadratic. However, the shape is different. It is also reflexive. Oops, reflexive. There, I could not find that V for a second. So it means one side will mirror the other side. So let's go ahead and take our points. We have -2. Three. We have -1. -1, 2. We have 0, 1. We have 1, 2. And we have 2, 3. So to the left 2, up 3, 1, 2, 3. A. Left 1, up 2, 0, 1. 1, 2, and 2, 3. And as you can see with our dots being a little bit closer, it allows us to create that more sharp V shape, whereas this one, my points were more spread out, and when I go and do even the points in the middle here, it does create a U shape. Alright, that's all I got for you.